Hello, this is Anna for Madame So. Today we're going to learn to use the bias tape maker to make some binding for a quilt. Alright, first thing we need to do is square off your piece of fabric. Okay, make sure all the edges are straight, that the raw edges are perfectly perpendicular to your selvages so that you can actually work with a piece of fabric. First thing we need to do then is cut this end. Okay, so this is the 45-degree angle line. I line it up with the bottom and the corner. And you do have to be careful with this because you do want a nice, perfect bias tape, right? Okay. Now we're going to attach it on this end. We're simply in this direction. We're simply going to make a 1/4 inch seam right here at the edge. All right, so here's our 1/4 inch seam. Let's give it a nice press. Now that we have all that over with, we're going to start marking the fabric. Let's start by marking a 1/4 inch seam allowance here on this edge. And obviously you need to go all the way down and also do it on this other edge. All right, let's start marking our strips now. We're going to use 2-inch strips, so let's align our ruler carefully. And it's worth taking your time here. Now mark using your preferred tool and make sure that the intersections down here are very clearly marked, also up at top, because that's where you're going to be numbering later, and you need those very, very clear. You're going to be matching them. Now keep marking the next 2 inches, and again align carefully. You don't want things to start getting wonky down the line, and continue all the way to the end of the piece of fabric. Okay, so I've marked the rest of my fabric, and you know, this disappearing ink marker is also air soluble, so it's been disappearing, but I have my hair lines marked so I can see them. All right, so here's my last line, and as you can see, I have a narrow strip left, and we are simply going to cut that off. There we go. Now we're going to start marking our intersections here. So I'm just going to use a regular pencil to mark these because my marking pen clearly is not very useful. So 0, and then this same intersection at the bottom. Let's make sure you can see that. So at the top it's 0, at the bottom it's 1. Okay, 1. Now this is going to be 1, and at the bottom it's going to be 2. And the reason for these is because if you match, you're going to match the numbers, right? And if this was 1 and this was 1, and we were matching them like this, okay, when you cut, you would have a nice little ring of fabric, and you don't want that. You want to have a long strip of continuous bias tape. So 1 will be matched with 1. Now this is going to be 2. If I can manage. There we go. 2. And at the bottom, this is 1, this is 2, so this is 3. And 3. And at the bottom, this one is 4. And so on and so forth until you've marked the whole piece of fabric. Now we need to pin. So we have it folded, right sides together, and now here we go. Here's 1, and here's 1 on the other side. And now we're going to twist the fabric so that we can match them. And see, they're going to cross at an angle. I've marked it on the right side so you can see it. Now pin through the intersection and make sure that it went through on the right spot in the other side. And we're going to do this, in my case I have 18 intersections. And of course at the bottom, the number is 19. So this one we're not going to match with anything. This is going to be our tail that's going to be hanging out. Okay, already pinned. Here's the weirdest thing you're probably ever going to have to sew, but you'll see. Once this seam is sewn and you shake it off, you're going to have a really nice tube of fabric that you can quickly cut, and then we'll get to use the bias tape kit. I have my numbers up starting with the 0, and as you can see, here's the first little tail, and I'm gonna go very slowly because I've marked my 1/4 inch mark here, as I don't have any markings on the foot itself. I'm just using tape. Okay, so rearrange often. You're dealing with a very, very twisted piece of fabric, so you really need to take care that your seams are aligned. All right, let's see what we have. Let's give it a nice shake. All right, so nice tube of fabric, and you can see how the seam goes around on the bias now. So all you need to do now is locate the first intersection, and I've started cutting so you can see it a little better, and simply start cutting along that line, and you'll start turning it and going around in the tube until you get to the end. Once you're done, you should have a nice long strip ready to put through your tape maker. We're going to need our 25mm tape maker. We're going to need the owl and a couple of these pretty pins over here. Now simply fit this end through the tape maker. Use the owl to help you. Push it in until it comes through the other end. And now you can just gently pull and make sure, see here, it's coming the other way. Make sure you're feeding it through the guides properly. See these guides on the side? The blue plastic makes them against the metal part. Now use the owl again and pull gently, and there we go. Look at that nice bias tape. Now we're going to iron the tip to make it easier to pin. Let's pin both sides. And now we're simply going to gently pull away, and take care when you get to a seam, since it's a thicker area and may need a little adjustment. And now, as you pull, just gently iron, press it down, pull and press, pull and press. And when you get to the end of your ironing board, simply readjust, bring it all to the front, repin in the middle of the tape, and repeat the whole process until you have all your tape ironed out. Look at how beautiful it is. And now our last step is to fold it almost in half. You want one side very slightly narrower than the other, so that when you're sewing it on one side, you'll catch the other end. And simply press it down gently and continue folding and pressing until it's all finished. Okay, we're all done. Believe it or not, look at all these bias tape. All right, so this is going to make some beautiful binding, and to keep it, just cut a piece of cardboard, cut some notches on it so it doesn't slide out. That is no fun. And just gently wrap it around, and next time you're ready to bind your quilt, it'll be waiting for you. Well, I hope this was a useful tutorial, and absolutely do give the bias making tip a try. It really is a great tool to have in your sewing room. And look at this. I can find 1,000 uses for these, way beyond quilting. So do give it a go and let us know, as always, in the comments if you have any questions, any comments, anything you need to know. We'll be happy to answer it. I'll see you in the next one.